Now this here is a piece of 25mm square bar, which I have got down to 50mm by machining the ends off, and now I'm going to put lots of holes in it and machine a slot, because we need a piece that's going to go over the boss on the end of the valve rod. So I'm going to make that. There's lots of processes, so I thought skimming it down, I'll cut that bit out because you've already seen me do things like that. So it's literally just skimming the ends down to 50mm. Yeah, let's drill an hole. Somewhere about there. Now I'm going to put the M8 in. Look, Edward, I'm using that tool you keep telling me to use. I do have to admit though, it does make a nice straight tapped hole. But you do need the little dimple in the end, or recess, tapered bit. I want to try and keep my datum edge here for the next two holes, because we're going to rotate this now. So I'm going to rotate it and drill two holes through there, because we're going to slot through there. Right, put that in. Little tap. These holes here don't have to be too accurate. We're just going to put a 10mm hole, and we're just going to go straight in with 10mm, because we're going to put a 12mm slot in, so it doesn't matter if they're slightly off. It's just so we're removing a lot of material now, so the slot cutter doesn't need to cut as much out. Now I can't go all the way through because of the parallels, so I'll go as close as I can, which, yeah, we're through there, and then we'll just move it back this way. As close to the as we can. And then all I'm going to do for the last bit, make sure it's tight. I'm going to knock the parallels out and just nip through, which they're loose anyway. Just nip through them and it'll be right. And then we can put the slot in. Go back to 21. There we are. So we're all set up. I've got this stood up with the 2 holes, hopefully you can see that there, on that side, and we're going to slot through that way. I know it's not really best, should really be slotting that way, but I'm going to use the power feed. This is a 12mm slot drill. I found the middle, like I said, and we're all set up, and we're going to go down 26mm. This should be the last cut. Doesn't take too long to do. This last cut is a 1/2 mm cut, but then I'll go back over it. Send it back over with no cut. Right, there we go. One slot. Right, so we're all set up. We've got this turned over. The slot is down there going that way, and we're clamping against the 2 longest edges. We've got it as parallel as we can. I found the centre, and we're going to put in an M10 fine thread in here, about 3/4 of an inch deep. On loop. Lots of helicopters again. M10 fine thread. This, you definitely need one of those centre things. Fine threads can wander, so keeping pressure on that I've found is really a good key to keeping a straight thread. So I go down a bit and then I keep pushing the quill down. To make sure it's holding centre. Not be far away now. There we are. And that is that done. And even better, there's a pair of them. So with our boss lightly attached to a piece of 10mm rod, this is going to go over there, like so. Obviously we need to put a bearing in and then make a boss or a pin that goes through, which is going to go through, screw into there, and then somehow we're going to lock it in place. Very similar probably to how the crosshead's done. Obviously that one's missing at the minute because it's going to be coming apart. That goes on there, and we're going to do a bit more finishing off yet until I'm 100% happy, and we may return to these and do a little bit on those as well to make them look a bit neater. But it doesn't really matter because no one's going to see it, but we will know it's there. At this end currently, it's sitting in the centre line of this, and it doesn't want to be. It needs to have a little joggle in it and come over here, because this is the boss from the other side. It needs to go into the centre of that boss. Well, not that one, but these ones, because for some reason I didn't make enough of the other ones. I only had 2 cut. So I found some material and I've made these. But these, unlike the other ones, have got M10 fine threads in, which will give us a little bit more adjustment, hopefully. Now we need to round the corners of these, which gives us the opportunity to use a rotary table. This time it's the smaller one. Let's get cutting. Nice. Right, let's get this last bit done. So, same again. Done. Now, if you're one of those hardcore machinists who does it to the book, which in the real world that's not very many of us, then you might want to just skip over this bit, because this is not how you should do it. But for the sake of time and speed, this is how we're doing it. So, in practice, you should put this bit inside a 4-jaw chuck. But change the chuck for a 4-jaw when I'm just going to do this twice and then turn it all back. It'll take me longer to change the 4-jaw and set this up than it will to do the job like this. So we have a piece of rod in the chuck, threaded onto our lovely piece that you've just seen us machine the ends round, and we're just going to turn about 8mm of this to round, just to make it look pretty. And I'm going to just do it gently, nothing hard and fast about it. But yeah, this is not how you should really do this. You should set it up, but like I said, time, speed, we need to get these videos done. Now we're just using the cheap tips on this. Let's see where we're at. Oh yeah, we're nearly there now. Now, yeah, I'm just using a cheap insert for this because carbide doesn't really like these cuts. Oh yes, lovely jubbly. There we are. Now, if you're liking what you're seeing on the channel at the moment, and you haven't done already, then how's about hitting the subscribe button? Because that is 100% free. And don't forget to hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified when we next release one of these videos. And if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, because that also is free, then that will help this video, like all my others, share around to like-minded folk. Right, let's get back to it. Come on. 0.4. We'll go with 0.4, eh? I'm not sure whether that was right. Right, so we need to take the end of this down, well, about 6.5 mil. We need to turn down to 8 mil for an 8 mil thread just on the end, which is what we did in the end of this here. This material's not liking these tips. Right, that should do us. That's as far as we can go. Right, so I just need to put a little relief there where the thread doesn't get to end.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
Well, that's good. I forgot to press record. You'll just have to imagine that I just went in with this tool a little bit to put a bit of relief. You kind of get the gist. Right, let's see if it fits. Oh yeah. Like a glove. It's a little tight, but we don't want it loose. Good grief. Maybe we do want it a little bit set looser than that. Maybe clean the threads a little bit and then it'll be alright. Right, so I've done the sensible thing. I've put it in the saw and chopped it down. It's quicker than parting off. I've changed the insert. We're going to try these ones. I couldn't get any of my favourite ones. They seem to be out of stock, so we're trying this one instead. Hopefully this one will be a bit better. Look at that already. That was very nice. Right, 1.6 to come off. Go for a 1/2 mil cut, see how that does. Not bad. Do 1/2 mil again. Right, so what we've got here is our pin screwed in. Now this doesn't actually need to get any tighter, it just needs to nip up and then not come out. So we need to put a flat here, which you can see I've marked, because we're going to put a plate there that stops this rotating out, very much like we did on the crosshead. So what I've done is I've gone to my surface plate with my vernier height gauge in the position it's in now, worked out how much I need to take off and scribed a line, and then all I'm going to do is unscrew this, put it in there, get it as close as I can, because like I say, it doesn't need to be 100% accurate. This we'll be able to nip it up later or get it in the right position, no problem. So yeah, so we need to get that in there now. Machine the flat, and then we're going to machine 2 flats down each of the long side here for us to get hold of it really. Right, and all I did to tighten it up was just get a bit of emery and wrap it round, because it is a little tight in some places. There we are. So we're going to put a washer on here, because that's going to be our sacrificial lamb. We're going to get it as close as we can. Right, I'll get it set up and then we'll get milling that off. Yeah, it's pretty parallel that with that line. There we are. That's our flat on. Right, I'm going to change tools and then we're going to put some flats on this way, which hopefully will look a little prettier. So what we've got here is a 6mm bullnose tool, and we are going to put a flat on, which obviously have a radius at the bottom in this side and the other side here. That should do it. Right, let's give it a whirl. The best bit now is when it goes stiff, we can use a spanner. Which, that's just the newness. And then a little tweak and she's square, just like that. I didn't see the point of doing this bit on camera, but I've made the little plate already, and that is going to go here, like so. So I need to drill and tap 2 little tiny holes in there. Now what has struck me while I'm setting this up to drill 2 more holes is steam engines are effectively lots of holes in different shapes and sizes. That's basically a steam engine, just lots of holes. In fact, many things are just holes. It's all machining holes, and drilling holes, and tapping holes, and reaming holes, and bushing holes, tapered holes, elongated holes, square holes, oval holes, D-shaped holes. We are set up with our 1/8 inch drill, so we can tap an M4 into here. Obviously we need 2 for our little plate. And then we shall move her over 10 mil. Right, let's tap them. It makes you so nervous doing this. You're just petrified that the tap's going to snap. There we are. And I tell you, what's even more hilarious is I'll show you. That there is a 6 BA. A 6. And that's tiny. And people tap holes at 16 BA. 16! And that's a 6. How? How do they tap an hole that? It's mind-boggling. Right, let's see if this fits. Oh. One in. That one's a bit stiff. Just going to run the tap through that again, I think. We might have a bit of something in it. Oh yeah, that's stiff, that. Try again. There we are. Voila. One valve rod twiddly bit end. But it's not just one, is it? It's two. Ain't they beautiful?